Welcome to the Purposed Audacity podcast, where we aim to nurture, amplify voices, and inspire our community to stand boldly in their Christian identity. Join Brian and Charmian Marie weekly as they have riveting discussions surrounding healing, restoration, and purpose. This is Purposed Audacity, powered by PAJE magazine. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Purposed Audacity. I am Charmian Marie.
I'm Brian.
All right, so it has been, we've changed the environment today, we just kind of wanted to, bring a different vibe and thing and just, so we're hoping that you like it. You can possibly let us know down below. So first and foremost, January was quite interesting.
Very interesting. Trust me.
With that said, we hope that, even the topics that we discussed in the time were very helpful and beneficial to you as you, progress in your walk.
Yep, and big up all the people that hold it in January. We know, say, after December, January is normally that long 3-year period of wilderness.
Yeah, man.
But we made it through in February, so big up to myself, go and hold strong. Yeah. So today's topic, yes, I'm doing this.
Oh, right, we're trying to.
So today's topic, we're gonna talk about what does it take to maintain healthy kingdom relationships.
Let us say that again.
So what does it take to maintain healthy kingdom relationships? Now, as Christians, we understand that we talk about, when we talk about the kingdom, we mean the kingdom of God, and what He wants to do in the earth, what He wants to manifest in the earth, what He would want us to be in participation with. And so therefore, we're also forming, in doing so, even though we are individuals, as individuals we have different purpose. In doing so, we still form friendships, we still form networks, we still form relationships with different people. Building not just an association, but more like a community. Now, community is can be a very tricky space. Community can be a very challenging space. It can be a space that requires growth and that grows you, as well as it can be a place that puts you down, something that you may have to change depending on the type of community you are in. But when we talk about kingdom relationships and kingdom community, the truth is, as we are all human beings, different things, we're talking about different people coming together, different people with different dynamics. So, for example, Charmian and I are Christians. This is a form of a kingdom relationship. Even though she's my wife and I'm her husband, it is a kingdom relationship because we still believe that the Lord wants to manifest a lot in the earth, and there's something for us to do in regards to our purpose. So we want to help each other in making sure that is done. But at the same time, we carry different characteristics. Sometimes I can be a little more laid back, Charmian is a bit more strategic. Sometimes I can be the one who is more of a visionary. Charmian can put the thing down, get it organized and stuff a bit more than I can.
Visionary too.
Yeah, no man, so it's not that, that's the thing, It's not even so like, we won't share similar things. But I feel like on the chart there is something more than the other. And in doing so, we will have to come together and say, all right, how can we put this plan together? How can we work it out? Yeah. The same happens when you're bringing even other people together, even other people with different characteristics and different things that they've gone through. It can take a time. It can take some time to really just work through those different group dynamics, because honestly, it's not the easiest. Honestly, it's not something that is just off the top of your head. Right. Especially if you've been a person where you've just always been doing things by yourself.
Right.
Like you get it done, you know how you roll, you know how you work, but you just get it done by yourself.
Right.
But then the Lord wants to lead you into a community or into relationships that other people can now help you in getting the purpose done or the task done or what have you.
So, well, thank you for that intro. And I feel like it was very necessary because our reality is that we always hear the idea of kingdom or the term kingdom, and then it's like, okay, cool, great. And then the idea of kingdom relationships or whatever, like what is really defined as that. So I really appreciate the fact that you decided to bring us on the same page in relation to that. Because when you think about now the dynamics of humans coming together and all these things and community and all these things, we recognize too that kingdom relationships therefore are interpersonal relationships that are supposed to be based on Christian principles. However, we know that as Christians we are not perfect, and we know that a lot of things happen in our lives and whatever, and so in us pursuing the heart of Christ and everything and the standard of Christ and stuff, things happen. Right, and there are a lot of disagreements, there are a lot of inner conflicts as we go through our progression journey and all of these things. So then how do we healthily interact? How do we healthily lift each other up and deal with each other in love and give grace and all of these things? And I feel like one of the first and major things is the acceptance of imperfection. Right, because I feel like that is fundamental in in us saying, the idea of, if, those without sin cast the first stone kind of a vibe. A lot of us as Christians, and with this cancel culture thing, which is not cute, a reality is that I find that a lot of us as Christians somehow forget that we are not perfect. And we forget that we all have our things going through, so fine, we always hear about murder and rape and all these things and whatever, but what about like the little white lies? What about stealing from whatever, stealing even $100 from whatever? What about doing the downloading those softwares that we get cracked codes for? All of these things, like there are so many things that somehow slip under the rug and whatever, but they come together and let us realize that, hey, like we're not actually fully walking a straight and narrow, like as a perfect being, So then it's really the understanding that, all right, cool, we are all imperfect individuals serving a perfect God, and we are all progressing. So if somebody falls, if somebody really makes a mistake and whatever, and yes, fine, there are some very impactful mistakes and stuff, how do we deal with that in the kingdom in a healthy way, right? So I
think I appreciate the fact that you stated that it's starting at, one of the things is definitely starting at accepting people's accepting everyone's flaws and stuff. And I love that because normally you'll hear accepting the person, and I feel like that's even a totally different thing than just accepting person's flaws, because accepting a person in themselves is one thing. Accepting their flaws is a whole other thing.
I realize.
And so I love the fact that you brought that up. And the truth is, when it comes down to even realizing that persons' issues or persons who have their own issues and own flaws and stuff like that are now going to come together and make something work, I think the biggest part of it is learning to communicate with each other, learning to communicate properly with each other.
That was my next point.
Yeah. Communication. You see, any relationship, the biggest part about it is going to be communication.
Yeah.
It's going to be communication, because it is through communication. And here's the next truth. I don't think there's any relationship you can have or go through that will not have conflict. I feel like if there's a relationship that has never had a conflict, has no conflict, something weird about it, something is not being said, or a lot of things are being very much bottled up. I'm not saying that it cannot be so. I'm just saying Normally, most often, it's few and far between, and there is something wrong somewhere.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that it's not even that conflict, it's just having conflict. It's about how you deal with the conflict.
Right.
How do you reconcile if there needs to be reconciliation with the conflict? Because in a moment, you can say something that is hurtful. In a moment, you can say something that, hurt someone or hurt somebody else in the group or what have you. But all right, fine, it happened in that moment. How do you deal with it after?
Right.
And I think the biggest part of it is always going to be communication. The biggest part of it is always going to be communication in love as well. Being honest, being true, but also doing it in love.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, and I want to kind of piggyback on that point a little bit more. So I remember when prior to us being in even premarital counseling and stuff, we went to a couple seminars. Yes, seminars are great, guys. There was one topic that was focused on called Pink and Blue. Pink and Blue, not wrong, just different.
Yes,
something like that, right? And as much as I was speaking about husband and wife relationships, I find that it's also important to see that in general relationships, because a lot of persons, find it difficult to reconcile and find it difficult to properly communicate about something because one, we're afraid to accept that people can have different opinions, and two, we're not recognizing that we just have different perspectives, and so one person is not about proving who's right or wrong. It's about coming to a middle ground and an understanding, so that we recognize that, all right, cool, Adessa, you there, and I'm over here. All right, cool. How are we gonna make this work so that we can move forward in a healthy way?
Yeah.
And if we're not willing to have that kind of conversation, then the relationship is going to break down over time.
Well, here's the interesting thing about even just kingdom relationship in regards to that. Is that when we talk about kingdom, we're not talking about your church.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about your church. We're talking about other people who believe in Jesus Christ, that He died on the cross for us and was born again as He is our Savior now. And that's far. That's wide cross section. Doesn't matter if you went to Evangelist, Holy, whatever, Open Bible, or
Methodist.
It doesn't matter. The reality is, if you believe in that, it doesn't matter which church you go. And on the kingdom basis,
we should be coming together.
We're coming together with our different perspectives, with our different thoughts and opinions, to say, hey, although we have some different thoughts and opinions, which really and most times are very secondary, it's not even the primary ones. It's not even the primary issues. Our primary issues, I mean, like, did Jesus raise from the dead?
Exactly.
Was He the God on earth? Stuff like that. Primary stuff. Secondary stuff. Being clothes, piercings, tattoos, secondary. They're really secondary. A lot of people take secondary and make them primary, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, next video.
But it's not even primary, it's really secondary issues. Right. Putting those secondary issues and opinions and thought processes aside and saying, like, how can we work together for the glory of God, for the glory of His name, and furtherance of the kingdom on earth.
Right.
And so with the understanding that we will have to really and truly treat it in a way where we can't always be praying this. And it's nothing is wrong with disagreements. Right. But I feel like a lot of times, even us as Christians, sad to say, we're still learning the difference between disagreements and disrespect.
Hey, ooh, sorry, me just feel like
we're still learning the difference between disagreement and disrespect. Yeah. I can disagree with my wife that say, hey, she likes filtered water. I don't. It doesn't matter to me whether it's filtered or tap. And I might say to her, and she might say, but this is what has so much pH and whatever. No,
pH balance, something.
Yeah, whatever. It has so much whatever. But I'm like, it doesn't really matter. It's still water. Just drink it. And we could go back and forth, but at the same time, I don't have to disrespect her. Disrespect comes in when I say, oh, you're just stupid. You know what? I'm like, whoa. I didn't need to go there. You know, we don't need to go to that place. It's just that we have a difference in opinion.
Right.
And so we really need to learn to get out that spirit of disrespect and learn that we can be in disagreement but still like show love, understanding, and move as one with each other. So I feel like that's also a very big part of it, you know?
So far we've mentioned acceptance of self in terms of acceptance of our flaws,
acceptance of people's flaws.
And people's flaws, right? And then also about having proper communication, right? And I feel like those are tremendously interlinked and thing. And I feel like moving out of those two and stuff, we also need to focus on the matter of the fact that there are offenses in the kingdom.
Okay.
Right? And I was afraid to bring this up and whatever, because a lot of us have, we tackled church hurt the other day, and all of these things. So a lot of us do have a lot of things to heal from and stuff like that, right? And I personally, as you know, things are happening currently that I'm dealing with as well, and that we are dealing with and stuff. But the matter of offense and what we take offense to, and also how we choose to kind of move thereafter. Now, when I say move thereafter, it's about like, do we then, when somebody makes a mistake, when somebody does something wrong and thing like that, and we are all kingdom people and thing, we need to come to a place of trying to establish, all right, cool, do we actually need to have this, be in this environment? Or do we need to necessarily have this person in our space or whatever? And it's awkward because we're talking about moving as one. We're talking about moving forward in the best way possible, all these things. So you don't necessarily want to come across as hateful. You don't necessarily want to come across as, wanting to cut off and all these things or whatever, because again, we are all kingdom people. So where's that weird balance? Where's that weird balance where you work on protecting your mental health, as we mentioned in the church hurt video and stuff, and work on protecting your space and whatever, but still come to a place where you can healthily say, all right, cool, well, them still in our kingdom, so we still love them. You get me? And so I think the main point I'm saying in this is that we have to work on healthily coming to the understanding of self-protection or self-preservation while still choosing to put the will of God and the kingdom as a primary something primary to chase after. So for me, I don't believe there's a band-aid fix as to how to deal with your heart and whatever, and a band-aid timing or timeline as to how to deal with your heart on that. But I think it's important for us and the church to recognize that it is okay to want to change your environment. It's okay to want to change those relationships and stuff if it is not healthy, but still have the resolve to reach a healthy place in terms of interacting with the persons moving forward.
So I believe definitely with all that you said, what keeps coming to me is that God's love must prevail. Throughout it all, God's love must prevail.
What does that really look like?
That looks like even in our hurt, even in our conflict, even in our trying to work it out and deal with it, even as human beings, it means that we're still clinging to Him to fix it. Because a lot of times I feel like even as human beings, we're trying to, and as self, we're trying to fix it ourselves. We're trying to figure it out ourselves. And a lot of times in us trying to fix it and figure it out ourselves, we're leaving out God. We're leaving out what is His will for this relationship.
Right.
We're leaving out what is His will for this to happen. And sometimes, what God would ask us to do or want us to do or say to us when we're looking for answers, like, how do we deal with this, God? God will say, hug Him. Like, what? What the? Nope, that's the enemy. Or it's not much. And Jesus that. Because you want me to hug Him? and you think about it, this is what has kept so many people, especially like even just think about family relationships with fathers against daughters and sons, and mothers against daughters and sons against mothers and fathers, stuff like that. It has held it so back. And sometimes we are looking, even as Christians, for something else or someone else to come in and take care of it all, when God is like, but you're the one to take care of it. You're the one that I want to heal. You're the one that I want for you to be the catalyst to resolve this situation, to find love in this situation, to show, even though this person did this to me, even though I didn't get out of it scotch-free, and they didn't make me feel like it was worth it, to show love to them. Because the truth is, they're in our lives, even in small ways, we're just like this, we're actually crucifying a lot of self. A lot of times it's really crucifying a lot of self and even our own hurt and stuff like that. And so I believe definitely at the end of the day, God's love must prevail, God's will must prevail. And the best thing we can do is cling to Him, even in our hurt. Sometimes that takes time. Sometimes that takes us hiding away. Sometimes that takes let's distance ourselves just because I know that I'm going to say something bitter to you. I know that it's very possible I might not be in the place I can respond to you properly right now. But even so, that's great. Intentionally make sure that you're also like, all right, God, I need you to deal with my heart. I need you to deal with what's going on, because at the end of the day, I don't want to live in this place. I don't want to stay in this place. And I don't want my heart to be in a place where it's always like this towards this person or even a set of persons. That's how we build it healthily, I think.
And well, with that, I guess the one word to sum everything up in terms of what it really takes to have healthy kingdom relationships is pursuing the love of God and living in full surrender. That's it. And that then influences the acceptance of flaws in ourselves and others, communication, all of these things. And with that said, guys,
I just had one more quick thing to say. I just feel like it needed to be added, to just be honest with each other as well. Be honest in love, share truth in love, but just be honest as well. It doesn't make sense that we're building something together and we're lying or we're keeping things back from each other. Let's be honest as well, even as we build relationships. It's necessary. The dirty part of building relationships are very necessary.
With that, guys, I low-key feel like we need a part 2 to this. But with that, guys, I pray and we pray that this really helped to influence how you maybe look at yourself, so that we can have more healthy relationships moving forward. So with that, see y'all in the next episode.
All right.
Y'all, what's up? I am Charmaine Marie, and I just want to thank you so much for watching this episode of Purposed Audacity. And with that said, I want to encourage you to check out PAJE magazine, which is, the parent of Purposed Audacity. So over at PAJE magazine, it's a Christian hub. It's a digital Christian hub that curates content to help you in your Christian walk. So whether it's about stewarding your finances properly, personal development, chasing purpose, and the works, we have it over at PAJE magazine, all for you, right? So go ahead and check out the links below, because we want to make sure that you are feeling like you're moving forward healthily in Jesus Christ. Take care.